has a really special relationship with the crave. In fact, you could say it's heroic. We'll let this super craver tell you the rest of the story. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Adam Schindler. Hello, everybody. I'm sure, like everybody here, I've loved White Castle from a very young age. I never got more excited for dinner than when my dad would say, "Hey, how does White Castle sound for dinner?" Like it just that was always like the highlight for dinner time. Whenever that question was asked. I've had a lot of house parties at my house, and every time I have a house party, people can expect to have at least a couple of Crave cases there to eat. And anytime, it got to the point where anytime I would invite somebody to a house party at my house, they would always say, "Is there going to be White Castle there?" And I would say, "Of course." So I just became known as the party planner that always had White Castle at the parties. And speaking of parties, it was the Halloween party I had at my house in 2009 that is to thank for me actually being here today. Because I was hosting a Halloween party, I wanted to have like a nice, memorable costume, but I wanted something unique. I didn't want something that you could just find from any costume shop down the road. And I was having a hard time figuring out what I wanted to do. I wanted to like maybe make something from scratch, but I just didn't quite know. So it was during the party planning process, we were talking about what food we wanted. So I said, of course, we gotta get a couple Crave cases. And then that's when it hit me, a light bulb went off in my head. I was like, what if I combined my love of White Castle with the costume that I need to make for this party? And I thought, what if I created a White Castle man costume? So then started the process of designing the costume, and that was it was a very fun process, but it was kind of interesting because the only clothes I could find that like worked for the costume were in the women's section. So I was at the store in the women's section, like holding all these things up to me, trying to figure out if they would fit me. And it was a little awkward. I got a few weird looks from people at the place, but I ended up finding exactly what I needed, and I created a costume I was very happy with, and it was known as White Castle Man, kind of a mixture of Superman blended with White Castle, if you can imagine that. There's the picture. I've got my favorite part is the belt, the utility belt of sliders. And then I like to call this picture White Castle Man at the Fortress of Slidertude. Instead of Superman at the Fortress of Solitude, in case you don't get the reference. So a couple years after I created that costume, I got an email from the Craver Nation email distribution list, and it was mentioning a Halloween contest that they were having, a White Castle themed costume contest. So I thought this would be a perfect time to showcase the White Castle Man costume. So I sent that very picture in as my submission, and I ended up getting enough votes to be the winner of the Craver Nation costume contest. So then, fast forward a few more years to like about 4 months ago or so, and I get another email saying, "Do you have what it takes to be part of the White Castle Hall of Fame?" So I was like, this might be another great moment to showcase White Castle Man. So I submitted my story featuring White Castle Man, and here I am today. It's a huge honor. I still can't believe this is actually happening. It's awesome. I love that it is happening. So yeah, I just want to thank everybody for inducting me. And then there's one more thing I want to say. If anybody ever finds yourself stranded and you get that craving that only White Castle can satisfy, just never fear. White Castle. Thank you.